Hope everybody is in good health. So it's time 9:30. So we'll start. We'll continue our reading of one shloka every day from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. It's time 9:30. And today we will be reading Bhagavad Gita chapter 10. The title of the chapter is The Opulence of the Absolute or Vibhuti Yoga. And today's verse is 32. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Putra Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Devi Satarade Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Jai Guru. So today's verse is verse 32. Arjuna has inquired from Krishna, how I can remember you in this material world, by which opulence I can remember you. And Krishna is giving series of examples or opulences by which we can remember. Arjuna means we also. So today's verse is 32. So let us read the verse. Sarganam adirantascha madhyam chaiva aham arjuna adhyatma vidya vidyanam vada pravadatamaham. Wait 1 minute. Translation and purport. Of all creations, I am the beginning and the end, and also the middle, O Arjuna. Of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self, and among logicians, I am the conclusive truth. Purport. Among the created manifestation, the first is the creation of the total material elements. As explained before, the cosmic manifestation is created and conducted by Mahavishnu and Garbhodakshai Vishnu and Kshirodakshai Vishnu. And then again it is annihilated by Lord Shiva. Brahma is the secondary creator. All these agents of creation, maintenance, and annihilation are incarnations of material qualities of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, he is the beginning, the middle, and the end of all creation. For advanced education, there are various types of kinds of books of knowledge, such as four Vedas, six supplements, Vedanta Sutra, book of logic, book of religiosity, and the Puranas. So altogether, there are 14 divisions of books of education. Of this, the book which presents Adhyatma Vidya, spiritual knowledge, in particular, the Vedanta Sutra represents Krishna. Among logicians, there are different kinds of arguments. Supporting one's argument with evidence that also supports the opposite side is called Jalpa. Merely trying to defeat one's opponent is called Vitanta. But the actual conclusion is called Vad. This conclusive truth is representation of Krishna. So, in this sloka, there are three or more opulences that are shown. So in Bhagavatam, there are 10 topics. Of the 10 topics, one of the topic of Bhagavatam is creation. So how this material world is created, how it comes into existence. So material world is eternal. So if you ask what is the starting point, so nobody knows the starting point of this, because this is eternal as per the Vedas. So, but the creation, how the creation started and how everything expanded, how these universes are made, this is one of the main topic of Bhagavatam. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3 and Canto 5, there is vivid description about the creation of this material world. And in that, in all the processes, we see anything is first created, then it is maintained, and then it is finished or annihilated. So all these three are the main functions which are carried out by through the agency of Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and Kshirodakshai Vishnu. And in within one universe, there are three guna avatars like Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. So Brahma is the in charge of mode of passion. The Shiva is in charge of mode of ignorance, and Vishnu, as maintenance, is the mode of goodness. So through these three guna avatars, each universe is created, maintained, and finished. And how the overall material manifestation is created, this is a simple slide, like how the Mahavishnu is lying on the causal ocean. For him, multiple billions of universes are created, and this is one, we are living in one of the universe. In each of the universe, then Mahavishnu expands himself as Garbhodakshai Vishnu, lying on the Ananta Shesha. And from his navel, lotus flower sprouts, and Brahma is created on this lotus flower. And he is the secondary creator. Why? For the universe, he is the primary creator, but overall, he is the secondary creator because he is created from Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And then Chirodakshai Vishnu enters into each of the living being as the super soul. So these three Vishnus are the main creators, and the origin of three Vishnus is Krishna. So Canto 3 and Canto 5 gives all the description about how this is created. And this is a chart that we have in temple also. So if within one universe, how one universe is established on Ananta Shesha, Lord Shankarshan, that we saw that one of the opulence is this Ananta Shesha. So within this one universe, we have Mahavishnu, and then we have planetary system, and there is incarnation from the Goloka, different incarnations, and Brahma, and the Devtas, and the Patal Loka. So this is one universe we are in. Like this, there are n number of universes. So all this process of creation, maintenance, and annihilation is a repeated process that is carried out eternally. And Krishna, this creative energy, chapter 7 is creative impetus, like the creative energy for anything, to create anything that comes from Krishna. So in our day-to-day life also, we see we have this creative desire to create something, to cook something, to create new dish, to create our own existence, our own position. All this energy of creation, the energy of maintenance and dissolution, this is coming from Krishna. In our body, there are n number of cells which are continuously created, maintained, and they are dying. So everywhere we can see this um, creation, maintenance, and dissolution. So you can observe in your day-to-day life, in our own life, and around us, how this is pervaded everywhere, and this energy is coming from Krishna. So the second point is Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam. So there are different educations available in this world, and higher the returns of the education, more it is valuable. So like we have engineering, we have medical, we have study of language, we have study of literatures, the different types of education. But based on the return, so if we say engineering or literature, or those are the systems or education which give us more return. So more the return is, more the value. If you do post graduation, the valuation increases, also the return increases. The return is in terms of money and your position and prestige. So the higher is the return, more is the valuable education. So Krishna says, of all the educations, I am the Adhyatma Vidya, the spiritual knowledge or knowledge of the self. So why it is most valuable or most precious? Because spiritual knowledge is eternal, and activities that we do in bhakti or devotion, they are also eternal. Even if our body changes, these activities of bhakti go along with us to the next body. And we start our bhakti from the next point, even if we change our bodies or we die and we take birth. So, this is the highest benefit. The highest benefit is which is eternal. So when we study the spiritual knowledge or knowledge of the self, who I am, what is my relationship with the God, why I am here. So this all is spiritual knowledge, a study of the self, and the returns is eternal. That's why it is the most important. And Krishna says, I represent that knowledge. Hmm. The third point is Vadaha Pravadatam Aham. So here, the pravadatam means arguments. There are different types of arguments. So here, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned jalpa and vitanda, and the third one is vad. There are three types of arguments, or what we say debate, uh, which the logicians or the scholars have. So each has a different characteristic. So if we see jalpa, jalpa is we give evidences which are not true evidences. We give false logic to put our point, uh, and we don't care for the others' uh, evidence or point, but we try to give our false logic and false points and try to win. But in this jalpa type of debate, because everything is false and based on the false logic or argument, there is no conclusion. Okay, and this vitanda is just criticizing the opposition party without trying to conclude anything. Whatever he says, you just criticize him, and we just try, by criticizing we try to defeat him. So we win or not is not a point. The only point is to criticize or defeat the opponent. But the next person, as we are doing the same thing, the other person is also doing the same thing. He's just trying to defeat us. So this type of discussions or debate, they don't conclude anything. They just try to defeat, and they, without any conclusion, these debates end. But vada is type of argument or debate in which both the parties put correct logical arguments with evidences, and the parties are ready to accept the positive points and the negative points of our own argument and also the opponent's argument. So both the parties put the arguments which have evidences, proven evidences, and then they together try to conclude, come to a conclusion. So a debate is perfect when there is a conclusion. So this vada is always a type of debate between the scholars where they conclude the things about the discussion and debate. So Krishna says, because they are able to conclude, that is the argument where that energy of conclusion and cooperation to conclude that vad is representation of myself. So we can apply this logic or teaching in our day-to-day life also, how our the arguments between family, arguments between boss and office, arguments between ourself, internal arguments within ourself. So we can observe all these arguments and try to see what type of argument we are doing. So if it is jalpa or it is vitanda, then we have to understand that there will not be conclusion, because I am just trying to do false thing or just trying to criticize the other. So if a real person tries to do a vad to conclusion, and a proper argument which tries to establish the final truth of all the Vedas and everything, is representation of Krishna. So here in this verse, it's very deep verse which has much more details to be. analyzed or to be discussed, but because it has the point of creation, maintenance, and annihilation, so that itself is a big topic in Bhagavatam. And then Krishna tells that the highest education is you study your relationship or self realization, and Vada is also it should conclude towards the purpose of your life, which is self realization. So if you have arguments and if it helps you to go close to your purpose of life, which is self realization, then it is a perfect argument or conclusion. So we can apply all this in our day to day life in small things also, and observing the small things of creation, maintenance, and dissolution. We can see food is created, it is maintained, it is eaten, it is finished. So everything is created, maintained, and finished. This is also a knowledge. This is just one step of knowledge which takes us to the self realization, which is represented by Krishna. So we can remember Krishna. There are many ways Krishna himself is telling. So try to just recall what we have discussed and remember Krishna, Vishnu throughout your day and night. And then everything will be good. So thank you very much. If anybody has any points or any insights that can be shared, which elaborate this discussion, then please feel free to share.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I have one question.
Mhm,
Um, Actually, in our body, the soul is that. That's what we are getting energy.
mhm,
Eh, I mean, we are alive. So
mhm,
inside the soul or next to soul, the Paramatma is present. So
mhm.
with the Paramatma, we are able to do not because of the soul,
What?
like maintaining it all. No, we
Mhm,
born already. The body should be maintained.
mhm.
Knowledge
Yeah.
also there. So the super soul is helping us to do.
Yes. He is super soul is the witness of all our activities. Is always with us, and Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita in 18th chapter, like as super soul, I give you understanding, I give you knowledge, I give you memory, I give you intelligence. Everything is coming from there. So that maintenance energy is also coming from Krishna, or when you say super soul, yeah, it's ultimately it's Krishna or Vishnu. Yeah, so you are correct, Mataji.
Okay. So when the soul leaves the body, the super soul goes with the soul, or what will happen?
Yeah,
What will happen? Will it the super soul also goes with the soul?
yeah,
Uh-huh.
because then body finishes. The one when they both leave, then the body finish.
We are having throughout our life. No, no, I mean forever eternal. Soul is eternal. All
Mm.
the time we have that super soul with us. Is
Mhm.
it like that?
Yeah. So
Um,
see, there are certain incidences of reincarnation, right? People remember the life
hmm.
of past life and all. So all these memories and everything is coming from Krishna. So in Bhagavatam also we have example of Jada Bharat who
Hmm.
remembers his last life. So that is coming from super soul, is giving that energy that he remembers.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So that is why the understanding of the self realization is the supreme, because then we realize, when we realize self, we realize the super self also. That's why it's the highest spiritual or education, today's words.
Okay, thank you.
Any other points?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much. I was not knowing regarding the argument thing you said, Vat. So this was the first time I got to know about this.
Yeah, generally we are on Jalpa or Vedanta, just criticize the other person. So, So this vad is, that's why Krishna says vad is important, and if you do vad, then I am present there.
Vad means you said conclusion, like end. You said, right?
Yeah. So see, when we say a boxing match, right? When there is a boxing match, there are so many punches. Everybody tries to hit the opponent, but by one punch that we call knockout punch, right? That knockout punch, the opponent is defeated, or so that punch is the punch that concluded everything. So when we are in argument, the last statement which concludes the argument and it results in the ultimate truth, that is vad. Is it okay?
Okay, yes, Prabhuji, understood. Like in the chess game also we say the last thing is
Yeah.
checkmate. So
Check.
kind of.
So that move is the move that finished the game, right? So there's this example that final move which concludes everything. That is Krishna representation.
Okay, okay, understood. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare
This
Krishna.
conclusive truth is representation of Krishna. When you go to the actual conclusion, and that truth is that Krishna. That is representation of Krishna. So that's why we have to positively argue.
Yes, understood.
Means we should not do any arguments without conclusion, right?
Yeah, because that is jalpa. That is what is we say prajalpa. That is that. Just talking, no conclusion. Just criticizing somebody and talking. That is called prajalpa. So that's why in all the bhakti scriptures it is said, avoid prajalpa, because that disturbs your mind.
Understood. This this verse actually and your explanation gives totally a different perspective of understanding this verse. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hope it helps everyone. It helps me also.
Can you explain little bit about the self, science of the self?
Yeah, so the human life, the main purpose of human life is athato brahma jigyasa. So who am I? So when there are n number of living beings in this world, but we are human. As human, we have given a special facility of intelligence and consciousness. And by this consciousness and by this intelligence, our main duty is to realize the self. Who am I? Am I this body, or I am something beyond this body? And also we have to understand from my origin. What is my origin? When you know who am I, then we have to find who is my origin, from where I am coming. And then we have to understand what is my relationship with that origin. So all this is science of self-realization, to understand our real identity. And that is the main purpose of all the Vedas and all the Shastra and Bhagavad Gita also. So Krishna's first teaching to Arjuna, starting from second chapter, was first teaching was, you are not this body, you are soul. So that is the first step of all the realization. So realizing the soul, and or realizing that I am not this body, is the starting point of this self-realization. So after that, we start our devotional practice and realizations with the Supreme Lord. So that is also called Adhyatma, spiritual knowledge. Okay, so thank you very much everyone for joining today again. And I hope these small discussions are helping each one of you. And If you find it helpful and if you want to help others, which is the most auspicious or pious activity that we can do to this humanity, is to give the spiritual knowledge. So if you want anyone, if you know anyone that should hear this or they can benefit from this, then please let us know so that we can add them and we can help each other and help all the society to raise our consciousness about self-realization. Thank you very much for joining. Hare Krishna. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare
Guruji,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.